Okay. For recording. Okay, recording has started. I'm supposed to tell you for legal purposes. And now I'm going to start sharing my screen. We'll get started on Module 3. Just a warning, guys. Just a warning. Module 3 is not that bad. It is Module 4 tomorrow. That is going to be a tough one, just so y'all know. Okay, let's get to sharing my screen. Charlie, can you see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. All right, here we go. So Module 3 is Part D drug coverage. Part D basics and eligibility. Part D covers certain prescription drugs, diabetic supplies, and vaccines. Part D is only covered through private companies, must be entitled to Part A and or enrolled in Part B. There is not a fee-for-service Part D benefit. PDP is a standalone prescription drug plan. Cost is PD plans. With cost, PD plans cover Part D prescription drugs as an optional benefit. So cost plans do not have to offer prescription drugs. Medicare, Medicaid plans, and PACE. Eligibility to enroll in a PDP depends on how they receive their medical benefits. MA, MSA members may only have Part D through a PDP plan. Cost plan or MAP private fee-for-service plans can select an offering with Part D if available or enroll in a PDP. MA, HMO, and PPO may only obtain Part D coverage inside the plan. So what that means is if they get an MA only plan, they cannot get a separate standalone Part D drug plan. Medicare, Medicaid, or PACE may only receive Part D through their plan. Part D covers prescription drugs, biologics, insulin, medical supplies used to inject insulin, such as syringes, needles, alcohol wipes, or delivering insulin into the body. Certain vaccines not covered by Part B, such as shingles vaccine and Tdap, are covered by Part D.
Hey, Taryn?
Yes, ma'am.
I just went through a case this week on insulin. You know, this $35 thing with MAPDs, is that only for specific insulin?
Yes, ma'am. It is not for all insulins. It's only for specific ones.
So we have to, so that's what I told the client. So I have to check each plan to see what insulins they cover that fall underneath that.
Yes, ma'am. And I apologize for my dog barking. She is being out of control today. She'll be quiet in a minute. Yes, it's only certain ones, and they usually have an asterisk by them. In some way, it'll notate in the formulary that those are the ones covered through the senior insulin savings programs. Princess. Oh my goodness gracious.
We honestly can't hear her, or I can't.
Okay.
She's not coming through.
Okay. Non-covered Part D drugs, the following are excluded. Oh, did I do the slide before? Yes, I did. Okay. Non-covered Part D drugs, the following are excluded from Part D, which are weight loss or gain, fertility, cosmetic drugs, symptomatic relief of cough and colds, vitamins, medical foods, erectile dysfunction for purposes of sexual dysfunction, non-prescription drugs, some off-label use, drugs covered under Parts A and B. Part D plans are allowed to offer additional drug benefits, but not excluded from offering weight loss prescription drugs, but are excluded. Formularies. Part D plans list drugs they cover in a formulary. Formularies are developed by pharmacists, doctors, and other experts. Part D formularies must include at least 2 drugs in each therapeutic category, generic and name brand. Tiering. Part D benefit structures and formularies create cost-sharing tiers. This allows agents to not only make sure the drug is covered in formulary, but cost shares as well. Tier 1 is known as a generic. Tier 2 is preferred brand name. 3 is non-preferred brand name, and 4 is high-cost drugs or specialty drugs. As we all know, there are plans that have higher tiers. Standard and alternative Part D benefits. Alternative benefits, benefit structures that are not standard, but instead are actuarially equivalent, which means the value of the Part D benefits must be the same as of at least the standard coverage. Enhanced alternative benefits for additional premium may reduce the deductible, cover excluded drugs, and or decrease coinsurance amounts. Standard benefits include several coverage phases, such as the deductible, initial coverage phase, coverage gap, and catastrophic phase. Catastrophic coverage, an enrollee pays the greater of 5% of prescription drug costs or 1035 brand name or 415 for generic. Changes for 2024. The 5% coinsurance will be eliminated. Part D plans will pay 20% of total drug costs instead of the 15%. Troop is out-of-pocket costs that count towards the annual out-of-pocket threshold to move into catastrophic coverage phase. Calculated on an annual basis, generally includes beneficiary payments for Part D drugs, including the annual deductible, cost sharing above the deductible, and up to the initial coverage limit, and above the initial coverage limit up to the annual out-of-pocket threshold, which is $8,000 this year. After the initial coverage period, a drug manufacturer's discount counts towards the true out-of-pocket costs. Generally, for drug costs to count towards Troop, drugs must be on formulary and purchased at a network pharmacy. That will make more sense when we go over the questions. Amounts paid for borne by the AIDS Drug Assistant Program and Indian Health Services do count towards Troop. Amounts paid through qualified state pharmaceutical assistance programs. Most charities, HASs, FSAs, and MSAs also count towards Troop. Excluded are drugs not on formulary unless it's an exception. Over-the-counter and other non-Part D drugs. Part D drugs obtained out of network unless a Part D policy applies. Also, I'd like to include if they buy pharmaceuticals overseas, like in Canada, those will also not be counted. Costs paid for reimbursed to an enrollee by insurance group, health, most government-funded health programs, or another third party, including Medicaid, CHIP, federally qualified health centers, rural health clinics, patient assistance programs, TRICARE, FEHB, Black Lung Funds, and health reimbursement arrangements, HRAs, or drugs bought outside the U.S. Are you all sure you can hear me okay? I hope so.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Part D coverage is generally provided through contract pharmacies, network pharmacies in their service area, except private fee-for-service plans that are not required to use a pharmacy network but may choose to have one. Plans may designate preferred pharmacies that offer lower cost sharing versus standard cost sharing. Certain circumstances may fill prescriptions out of network covered in Troop. Enrollee has an illness or loses a drug while traveling outside the area, or circumstances result in limited drug access through in-network pharmacy. Those will go towards Troop. Part D plans usually charge a premium. Typically, higher premium means lower out-of-pocket costs. Part D enrollees have 3 options for paying Part D premium: electronic monthly premium payments, direct billing from the plan, auto deduction from Social Security check. 2 to 3 months to start or end, full premiums will be deducted. Generally, beneficiary must stay in the same premium payment option for the entire year. If no option is chosen, they will be billed by the plan. Late enrollment penalty. How many of you hate those phone calls when you sign them up for a plan and they have a late enrollment penalty? Woo, those are fun. Beneficiaries may have to pay a monthly premium penalty to join a Part D plan if they did not have credible coverage and do not enroll when first eligible. If there has been 63 continuous days, please remember that, 63 continuous days, following a beneficiary's initial enrollment period and did not have Part D or continuous coverage. The penalty is 1% of the national average premium for each month they did not have Part D or credible coverage. Penalty is in effect as long as the beneficiary has Medicare prescription drug coverage. Those who qualify for low-income subsidy will not have a late enrollment fee penalty. It will be waived. Part D management tools and formulary requirements. In addition to formularies and cost-sharing tiers, Part D plans use a variety of drug benefit management tools. Step therapy, one or more similar low-cost drugs may be tried before a more expensive drug is covered. Prior authorization requires the doctor to contact the plan and request authorization before the drug will be covered. The doctor must show the drug is medically necessary for it to be covered. Substitution. Plans may substitute generic for name brand drugs if generics have the same or lower cost sharing and certain conditions are met. PARA can set limitations if they feel the drug may be misused or abused. I have run into this. It's not very often, but it really comes into play whenever you have somebody who is abusing opioids. There will be limitations, or they will not be able to fill those drugs. Just so you're aware, it is happening more often than not, but it's still very rare. I shouldn't say more often than not. More often than it used to, but it still occurs. Transition requirements. Enrollees initially enrolling in Part D, switching plans, and current enrollees affected by formulary changes must receive at least 1 month fill of their non-formulary drugs during the first 90 days after enrollment. Plan switch or formulary change. If enrollee in a long-term care setting is outside their 90-day transition period, the plan must still provide 1 month supply of non-formulary Part D drugs while an exception or prior auth is being processed. During the transition period, plan does not apply prior authorization or step therapy rules. Request by the enrollee and physician for an exception to continue the drug or transition to formulary drug. Enrollee rights in Part D. Requesting coverage determinations and appealing decisions. Part D plan sponsors must give access via secure website or secure email address on website for enrollees to quickly request a determination whether the drug will be covered or appeal a decision. There's that word appeal from yesterday, guys, versus grievance. Enrollees may appeal coverage determinations, decisions on exceptions, or requests for tiering or formularies. Plans must also require network pharmacies to provide a printed notice with the plan's toll-free number and website to request coverage determination. Part D assistant programs. Low income subsidy, LIS, covers all or part of Part D plan premium and cost sharing. And in 2022, it did not change. To qualify, income may not exceed 150 at federal poverty level, varies geographically. 48 states is $20,385 individual, $27,415 for a couple. Alaska, Hawaii are listed below, and beneficiary resources may not exceed $14,010 individually, or $27,950 a couple, or $15,510 individually, $30,950 couple if they're notified Social Security Administration they expect to use some of the resources for burial expenses. I may have a dead dog by the end of this. Encourage individuals to apply to the state Medicaid office. Those with limited income and resources should be encouraged to apply for LIS through the state Medicaid office or Social Security Administration. They can apply anytime. After approval, it is effective the first day of the month in which they applied. Automatically qualified for extra help are full Medicaid coverage, help from state Medicaid program paying their Part B premiums, and Medicare savings program. They get a supplemental security income benefits. Medicare mails them a purple letter to let them know that they will automatically qualify. Those who qualify for full LIS are full benefit duals with income at or below 100% of the federal poverty level, have a $0 deductible and cost shares of $1.45 for generics, $4.30 for other drugs. Those who are full LIS and are FBDEs and income over 100% of federal poverty level have a $0 deductible and cost sharing of $4.15 for generic and $10.35 for other drugs. Pharmaceutical manufacturers have assistance programs to obtain drugs at reduced or no cost. Some states have assistance programs. Some programs are qualified state pharmaceutical assistance programs that count towards TROOP, and some do not. So it'll be dependent upon the program. Become familiar with your state's programs. Employer union coverage of drugs. Employer and union groups will notify their employees if they offer credible prescription drug coverage. If it is not credible, the beneficiary will need to enroll in Medicare Part D drug during initial enrollment period to avoid a late enrollment penalty or within 63 days of losing credible coverage. So that is all that it is before the hardest one, which is tomorrow. Okay, guys, are we ready to play true or false?
Sure.
Yes.
Charlie, are y'all sure you cannot hear this dog screaming her head off?
Well, when you're talking, you can hear a little barking in the background, but when you're not talking, we can't hear it at all.
Okay. She's driving me crazy. I don't know why she's acting so bad today. But she is. Oh, I have. I even gave her a chewy before I started because she has been unruly all day long. She's just having a bad day. Okay, guys. Let's
Before
see
you
here.
get started, Taryn, Charlotte has her hand raised.
Oh, go ahead, Charlotte. Yes, they are recorded. If you put your email in the chat, Sharon, I will definitely share the recordings with you.
Yeah, I tried to get on yesterday and could not get into the meeting. I was about 4 minutes late. I was rushing to get home at 3 o'clock and I was here at 3:04. And for 15 minutes, I tried to get into the meeting and could not get into the meeting. So I don't know if you have to invite me in and it just didn't happen or why I could not get in yesterday, but I could not get in yesterday.
Yes, you have to be admitted in, and I may have been in another screen and just did not see it. I apologize. Normally Charlie is able to monitor those. So something just went wrong.
Yeah, it really, and I was so frustrated because I didn't want
I
to
am
miss
so
it
sorry, but I will send you the recording from yesterday.
yesterday. Yes, thank
Yes.
you.
Yes, I
Thank
apologize.
you.
Okay. All right, so let's get into some of these questions. This module is super easy. You can jump straight to the test. It's the last module that you can do that in. It took me about 2.5 minutes to do this module. Super, super easy. Tomorrow's not easy at all. So we might need extra time tomorrow. Okay, true or false? Mrs. Cantwell's annual prescription drug plan deductible and the drug manufacturer's discount for brand name drugs after her initial coverage period count towards her TROOP.
True.
Very good. Okay. True or false? If you do not sign up for Part D in a timely manner, you will incur a 1% penalty of the national average premium for each month they did not have coverage.
Absolutely true.
I told y'all, this one is so easy. This one is the easiest module of all.
I'm personally experiencing that now.
No!
Oh yeah. The first year I didn't sign up.
Okay, here's a question for you all. individuals, let me see how I want to phrase this. Jose, who is a grandfather who was granted asylum and has worked in the United States for many years, is he eligible for Part D?
Yes.
Very good. Some of these are hard to change the questions in form of a question without giving away the question.
I think the key word was asylum on that last one.
It was. He's here legally. Yes. Okay. Miss Lopez is enrolled in a cost plan. This provides her with options as to how she secures her Part D benefits. Beneficiaries who enroll in a cost plan may obtain Part D benefits through their plan if offered or through a standalone prescription drug plan. True or false? It's cost plan.
I think that's false.
It's true. They can, with the cost plan, they can use the plan's offering or choose to have without and have a PDP.
Okay.
True or false? You have to enroll in an MA plan in order to get Part D prescription drugs.
False.
Very good. If you're an original Medicare, you may obtain drug coverage through a PDP. Okay, I'm going to read this question because we already had this question today. And I'm just going to read the way they word it in the question. This is the only one I'm giving away because it pertains to the question that was asked when we first started. Here it goes. And it's number 6. Charles McCarthy is a Medicare beneficiary who suffers from diabetes. Mr. McCarthy is considering enrollment into a MAPD plan that you represent. He asked whether his insulin costs will be covered. What should you say? The correct answer is Mr. McCarthy's insulin costs for a 1-month supply cannot be more than $35 in any coverage phase under the prescription drug plan beginning in 2023. So I want to explain this. Coming from the carrier, I understand what AHIP is saying, but it is not every insulin, and it doesn't also have to include oral anti-diabetics. That is up to the carrier in the formulary, but they have to have a certain amount. I don't know what that number is, or different types of acting insulins that are available at the $35, but does not have to be every insulin that is covered under formulary. So that one is tricky, especially when we go back to the question we had earlier today. In the way that they explain it next to my green check that I was correct. Mr. McCarthy's insulin costs for a 1-month supply cannot be more than $35 in any coverage phase under the prescription drug plan beginning in 2023. So they do not make any attempt to discuss that it does not have to be all insulins. But that is the truth. And unless it changes, but I haven't seen it anywhere that it's changing for 24. Not yet. Okay. If someone is retired from a federal agency, yeah, it said beginning in 2023, which is this year that we're in, Charlotte. If a retired federal worker with coverage under the Federal Employees Health Benefits, known as FEHB plan, that includes credible coverage, drug coverage, and is turning 65 and became Medicare eligible for the first time, what issues might they consider about whether to enroll in a Medicare prescription drug plan?
Whether they had credible coverage or not.
Right. So on the FEHB plans, that the retired employees are covered under active employee insurance, and they pay the same premium that the active employees do. So they still get a benefit allowance towards it. This question comes up a lot with federal health employees or federal employees for their health benefits, is what I was trying to state. Because a lot of them want to know, should I get a standalone Part D drug plan in addition to it? So the answer is, enrollment in a Medicare health or drug plan may only result in disenrollment from another Medicare drug or health plan. FEHB is employment-based coverage, not a Medicare plan. So it will not interfere with the FEHB benefits if they choose to do that, is according to AHIP.
So you're saying they could have both?
That's what AHIP is saying. I can personally tell you, after being a government account executive for many years, if they wanted additional coverages in addition to their health benefits, we always put them on a MA only plan so that they can have the dental, vision, and stuff without having to pay the premiums. The problem is that because it's an active, I'm going to kill this dog. It is because it's an active group plan, they don't have to worry about the gap. I know the gap is going away, and we'll discuss that tomorrow, but we always put them on MA only because then it's governed by just general health care plans, not Medicare rules. So I caution against it. I know the answer according to AHIP, but I would definitely caution against writing any prescription drug plans in addition to the group benefits, because now we just expose them to a potential donut hole.
And you're saying that because the Medicare plan would come first. And that's why they'd be exposed to the donut hole, because that would take priority. That would be first in line.
I'm not sure what the rationale is. I can just tell you I've seen it happen. This is experience talking, not a textbook. That dog has been barking for 28 straight minutes, guys.
You need to put him on mute.
True or false? If a Medicaid beneficiary does not choose a Part D plan once they become eligible for Medicare, then Medicare will select one for them. True or false?
False.
True.
It's true.
True. And you know what, Taryn, I had someone go on Meals on Wheels. They got Meals on Wheels, and they had a drug plan. That pushed them into LIS, and they had a drug plan chosen for them. They didn't even know it.
What?
Yeah. I had a client I was working with, we actually called Medicare together, and they go, she's on LIS. And I'm like, well, how can that be? She never applied. And it was Meals on Wheels caused that to happen. And she had a plan in place. She didn't even know.
That is crazy to me.
I guess it's because it's a government or a city benefit for, you have to qualify to get Meals on Wheels. You have to qualify income. So they just assumed, this is the way it was explained to me. They just assumed if you qualified for Meals on Wheels, well then, you'll probably qualify for LIS. I don't know. The whole thing was just, but it happened. I saw it.
Whoa. I love hearing these stories, because it doesn't matter how long you've been in this business, there's always a new story. Something that is shocking. Always. It never fails to come about. Okay, true or false? A Part D beneficiary must stay with a premium payment option for the entire plan year.
Yes.
Very good. I've seen where they've made exceptions, guys. So if somebody does show up and then they run out of money, they're going to move it.
That's the company policy. We're saying that's not reality.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, we know about LIS. Okay, true or false? This one shocked me. I got it right, but it shocked me. There is no cost sharing for the shingles vaccine, even in the deductible phase of prescription drug plan, because it's an adult vaccine recommended by the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices. True or false?
True.
True, true.
It is true. And
Yes.
it
You know
shocked
why?
me.
They moved it to Part B. They took it out of D and they moved it to Part B this
Is
year.
that what?
That
It
is. And
shocked me.
Yeah,
I
it
was
changed.
gonna, yeah, I was gonna show one of your slides had it incorrect, but in 23 they took it to Part B because so many people were bitching about the deductible running it through Part D.
And what's crazy is that's literally me typing from the AHIP module practice.
I know, they have it wrong.
It's funny. I do that in CE courses too. I see where they're wrong.
Yeah,
Okay.
I got there's two parts to that shingle. And the first time I got it last year, I did have to pay something towards it. And then this year for the second dose, I did not.
There you go.
Wow. 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 You always learn something every day. I tell you guys. Okay. You must enroll in a Part D plan or other. That does not make sense the way they worded this sentence. Listen to this sentence. Must enroll in a Part D plan or other obtain credible coverage before they have a 63-day break in coverage. So true or false, you must select a Part D plan and not face penalty, but you only have 63 days during the break.
True.
Very good.
Mhm.
True or false, you have to have Part B in order to get a prescription drug plan.
False.
Very good.
A or B.
Okay, true or false? Can an individual enroll in a standalone Medicare Part D prescription drug plan if they are enrolled in a private fee-for-service plan that does not include Part D drug coverage of a MSA plan?
No.
Yes, they can.
Ah,
MSA, PFFS may have standalone prescription drug plans as long as the plan they're on does not have Part D built into it.
okay.
Mhm.
What percentage, this is fill in the blanks, what percentage may an individual not exceed in order to be qualified for LIS of the federal poverty level, FPL? What percentage? 150, very good.
Mhm. Do we need to know the income levels?
No, just that 150%.
Okay, that'll be easier.
Some of the state programs are qualified and count towards TROOP, as well as pharmaceutical manufacturers programs. Do those count towards TROOP?
Yes.
Very good. That was a repeat of the PDP. That's it, guys. This is such an easy test. You are going to breeze through it in like 2.5 minutes. It's super easy.
2.5 minutes.
Yeah, 2.5. Okay, not really. But you're going to breeze. You're going to breeze through it so easily. And tomorrow, just get ready.
What is tomorrow?
Tomorrow is we are going to be talking about the new rules on recordings. We are going to be talking about the new disclaimers. We're going to be talking about the new scope of appointment. It is a lot of information.
Ugh.
Most of the new rules, not all, most of the new rules are tomorrow. And then it's also talking about marketing practices and stuff like that.
The fun stuff.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Charlotte. I had to, Charlotte, you'll appreciate this. 2 weeks ago, I had a dog for Charlie. How long have I had Kiwi? 15, 16 years. I had to put her down. It was bad. It was a bad deal. And my dogs currently miss Kiwi. So that may be why we're acting up today. Maybe Kiwi is visiting me.
Yeah. All right. See you tomorrow.
I will see you guys tomorrow. Get your drinks ready, have your snacks prepared. Tomorrow you will need your comfort snacks, you will need your water, and we are going to dive in.
All right, look forward
Okay.
to it.
Well, thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome. I'll send
you.
everybody the recording. Bye, guys.
Thank you
Bye,
so much.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.